What if I told you that some of the greatest people God ever used were the ones nobody believed in? What if I told you being overlooked doesn't mean you're insignificant, messing up doesn't mean you're disqualified, and your past does not cancel your purpose? Before David was a king, before he was a warrior, before anyone knew his name, he was a teenager, forgotten in a field watching sheep, while his own family didn't think he was worth calling inside. No crown, no title, no spotlight. Just a heart God saw when no one else did. If you've ever felt invisible, if you've ever failed and wondered, can God still use me? If you've ever felt like you don't measure up, lean in, because David's story is really about you. When God sent the prophet Samuel to choose the next king, David's brothers were lined up, tall, strong, impressive, but God rejected them all. And God said something that still changes lives today. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. David wasn't chosen for his resume. He was chosen for his heart. Turn to someone next to you and say, God sees your heart. Then came the giant, Goliath, trained, experienced, terrifying, and an entire army froze in fear. But David stepped forward with no armor, no sword, just faith. David said, the battle belongs to the Lord. One stone, one step of faith, and the giant fell. David didn't win because he was strong. He won because he trusted God more than his fear. Faith over fear. But David's story doesn't stop at victory. Later, David became king, and with success came temptation. David failed badly. He sinned, hurt others, and dishonored God. And when he was confronted, he didn't hide. He didn't blame. He didn't pretend. Instead, he cried out, create in me a clean heart, O God, Psalm 51:10. David is called a man after God's own heart, not because he was perfect, but because he repented. Humility, repentance, a heart that runs back to God. Failure didn't end David's story. It refined it. David praised God in joy. He cried out to God in pain. He ran back to God after sin. That's why the Psalms feel so real. They were written by someone who knew both worship and weakness. God doesn't want a fake version of you. He wants your real heart, your doubts, your tears, your questions, your praise. And here's the most powerful truth. David's life points to Jesus. Jesus is called the Son of David. Where David failed, Jesus was faithful. Where David was broken, Jesus became the perfect king. David's life shouts this message. God uses imperfect people with surrendered hearts to change history. So remember this, you don't have to be perfect to be chosen. You don't have to be strong to be used. You just have to be willing. What part of your heart are you holding back from God? Because if God could use a forgotten shepherd, a giant slayer, and a broken king, he can use you. Because the life of King David proves this truth. God doesn't choose the most impressive. He chooses the most surrendered. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, Sight Kids, for more spiritual growth, and let's keep growing together.